Yo, what up, my fellas? What's good? G's? Yo, I know it's a little bit early, but we're gonna take a toast, for New Year's, the pre New Year's Eve before the Eve. We gotta do a little show for y'all, but you know what I mean? Welcome Jay back. We're gonna have a dope conversation. We got some good topics that we want to talk about. Some New York, some not. We'll get into that later, but you know what I mean? Yo, salute Jay. We're gonna have a good ass show. Everybody tune in. Yo, happy New Year's Eve.
There it goes. There it goes. Peace.
Yo, what up, though, man? What's going on, man?
I don't know. Niggas is getting shot on. Niggas getting shot on New Year's Eve.
Taking shots. Pause. We taking shots. Not them kind of shots. Watch your mouth.
Holiday shots.
Holiday shots. Yo, I want to welcome everyone back to Drunk Sports Talk, New York's new #1 sports talk show. We are the voice of the streets. It's your boy Cash. You already know I got Q with me, and like Q said, my man Jay is back. Jay, good to have you back. You know what I'm saying? Me and Q been holding it down here and there, but
Absolutely.
the team is back. You know what I mean? Everybody's good. Everybody.
Three amigos.
Three amigos, man. New Year's is here. I'm just letting y'all know I'm finna get lit. Straight up, you know what I'm saying? I'm going in, and I don't even go in like that. But New Year's, and I took Friday off, all right, so I need a 2-day rehydration period. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I need the IV, like, you know what I mean?
Listen, get a 12-pack of Pedialyte.
I hate the IV shit because there's a Fanuc out there that was doing that shit. If you know who I'm talking about, this shit. You know what I mean? He's throwing Bailey oil on niggas and crazy shit, but you know what I mean?
Hold on, wait. What?
They said then they got Puff after them freak offs. Them niggas, he should have like doctors bringing mad IVs and them niggas just will rehydrate and get back to it. Yeah. Shit's crazy, my nigga. That's just, you know what I mean?
Bro, you got the paper. Like you can get a whole day back with an IV. You
yeah.
Know what I'm saying? You fuck around.
You get a whole day back.
Yo, you can because after a binge night where you drink too much, you lose that whole next day because you be dehydrated, you have a headache, all types of shit. So by the end of the day, you may be just coming around. You fuck around, you wake up like that, and they light you up with a drip.
Yeah.
That whole day come back, you could be back in an hour.
That saline bring you right back to life.
You
shriveled up that
shit.
You're like a fucking dry sponge and shit. You fucking get the wet in that shit. That shit.
Be right back at it. Yo, fuck
That's
that.
A fact.
If I can get
That's
some
a whole
fucking
fact.
IV, fucking some nurses moving around in this bitch, I'm telling you, I'll drink way more.
I'll take the nurses too. Any IV. But yo, all right, let's get into the sports, man. And yo, man, like NFL's been popping, man. Like it's that time of year. Excuse me. Teams are jockeying for position. Playoffs are getting ready to start. Mm-hmm. We're seeing who's who, who's not, who's real, who's fake, the whole bit. But what caught my eye last weekend was Derrick Henry, man, and he's doing some amazing shit. How do I start this off? Listen, there's a lot of good running backs who have played in the NFL, right? There's a lot of good running backs now, like motherfuckers like Dijon. Let me not get into that. We'll get into that at some point. But there are a lot of good running backs who played in the NFL in the past. I didn't get to see them all. I did see a decent number of them. I seen a lot of them. I saw like the back end of Eric Dickerson's career. I seen pretty much all of Barry Sanders' career. He was like, he was fucking. Barry Sanders was everything, Adrian Peterson, I seen his whole career. Obviously, Saquon Barkley, Emmitt Smith, I seen the latter end, like mid to the latter end of Emmitt Smith's career, where I was really like paying attention. LT, LT, I don't want to say the fake LT, but LT number 2, LaDainian Tomlinson, you know what I'm saying? Bo Jackson, obviously, Marshall Faulk, guys like that. Even like Curtis Martin, you know what I'm saying? When he was on the Patriots and the Jets, these guys were phenomenal, man. But I can go on and on and on and on, but we're witnessing like some historical shit, man. Derrick Henry, man, he's doing he's a monster. But when I look at and we're gonna get into what he's done and what he's doing, but when I look at Derrick Henry, I look at like a guy that you can't you can't teach that shit to. You know what I mean? Like you can't just go to a football clinic and go, yo,
Nope.
do like him. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not 6'5", you're not 240, you're not gonna be able to just put your head down, pause, and run through fucking lines. You're not gonna be able to do that shit. That's just some shit God gave you, man. You know what I mean? He has fucking incredible raw power mixed with speed. He's like, if I had to like give you an analogy, he's like a tank with a fucking Lambo engine in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like just crazy with, you know what I'm saying?
Cybertruck.
Exact. There you go, Cybertruck. And I also another analogy is in boxing, right? I came up with this analogy. You have three types of fighters. You have the boxer, who's like the slick puncher. You have, the boxer puncher, and you have, the puncher. You know what I mean? Those three. You know what I mean? Floyd was like the slick boxer. Deontay Wilder's like the straight puncher. And then you got guys like, like Teofimo and Terrence Crawford who have power and they can box. They're like boxer punches. If you had to put these guys in those categories, Adrian Peterson, he's like the boxer puncher. You know what I'm saying? He's slick, smooth, can break tackles. Power too. You know what I mean? He's like the whole package. Saquon's just straight boxer. You know what I'm saying? Slick with his shit. He's going around you. He's not trying to run through you. He's going through the raindrops, so to speak, right? Emmett, kind of like a puncher. Barry Sanders, the ultimate boxer. You know what I mean? The ultimate Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? Derrick Henry's the motherfucking straight puncher, knockout puncher. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, look, really what I want to ask you, Derrick Henry, last couple of weeks, I think he set a record right last week. Let me look this shit up, right? Because
The only running back with 7 200-yard games.
Right. Oh, so boom, here you go. Last week's performance against the Packers, right? 36 carries, 216 on the ground, and 4 rushing TDs. Put him into rarefied air, and spark conversation on where he is in the allure of running backs. Like I said, skill wise, he has a skill set that can't be taught. And I just want to ask you guys this: where do you put Derrick Henry in the pantheon of greats? Because I believe he's in the top 10 in rushing now. Jay, you just brought up a stat. I think he's like 2 or 3 in rushing touchdowns or something like that. There's so many different things he's doing. Like you said, 7 200-plus yard games, the most all time. Top 10 in rushing. He's up there in all-time rushing touchdowns. I heard games with check this stat out. It's crazy. Games with 100-plus yards and 2 TDs. He's tied with Emmitt Smith and Daniel Thompson for the most in history. 4.9 yards per carry. That's one of the fucking top 5 of all time. Where do you guys, Jay? I'm gonna go to you first. Where do you guys put fucking Derrick Henry in the pantheon of greats? Is he there yet, or is he still inching his way up there?
No, he's in there. He's definitely in there. If he was to stop right now, you have to put him probably somewhere 5 or 6, I'd say. If he was to stop right now, but he's still going. The problem is he's still going. He's got another 3 at least, unless there's some type of ridiculous injury. I say he's got another 3 years of this type of activity. And think about this, right? He had some really rough moments this year with the fumbles. He's had 3 major fumbles this year. One was early in the year. I want to say it was game 1 or something like that. He fumbled at the end of the game. Then he had another one, and he just recently had one about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And normally he never fumbles the rock, right? But like I bring that up to say, if you look at him after those moments, the passion that he still has for the game is different. He doesn't take it lightly. He takes it very seriously. Like he's not one of those running backs that you see that are stat driven. He's not. He's really win driven, and his name is his name type driven. Like he really wants to be recognized, not for the stats, but for his contribution to the team's greatness, which is why he takes something like that so seriously in the event that he hurts the team or causes them to lose. So as far as where I'd put him, I'd say he's got to be in top 5 or 6. I could think of 5.
You putting him up that high? Top 5, 6? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, I would. And
okay.
And the things that he's doing, if you look at what we just mentioned, like 70 games with over 200 yards is not an easy task. 200 yards is a lot of fucking yardage to do against other grown men. And he's doing it and like you said, think about how he's doing it. He's not a shifty running back. This guy is he's the creator of business decisions. Because like when he
yeah, that's a fact.
When he starts to go downhill, you have to think about your children, your family. You have to think like, what am I going to do after football if I try to take this guy on head on balls, right? You have to think about that. There's a possibility this could end the season right here, and depending on how I get hit, maybe it might be a career at that point. So you have to make a business decision when you tackle him, and I think that in itself. Like, he has so many different moments where you see that one stiff arm where he just discards grown men. He's discarding motherfuckers. Like, it's not like he's hitting them and then, making it. He's literally putting his hand on men, grown men, and throwing them like children. That like, I'm watching this shit. Like I remember he did that to Lil Norman. He fucking threw Norman's ass damn near out I had to pick Norman up in my living room and put him back in the TV. So this is when I look at him, and again, I'm only gauging it because I know he's going to keep going. I could see him being top 4 or 5 after everything is said and done. I don't think he'll supplant somebody like a Jim Brown, although I know we're going really far back. I don't think he'll supplant Barry Sanders because I've seen Barry Sanders do things that I've never seen and probably never will ever again.
Barry's
it's a
different.
whole different.
Frank Gore, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Curtis Martin.
Yeah, a whole different type of running back. I put Marshall Faulk. You mentioned him earlier. I put him very high on that list because Marshall Faulk was really, Marshall Faulk was a dual threat because he could catch the ball out of the backfield as well as run the football. So I'm kind of high on Marshall Faulk. But other than that, I'd say right now 5 or 6. I think he'll finish somewhere like 4 or 5.
Before I go to you, Q, you brought up a good point. He's still writing his story, right? I think he's 12. He has 12,892 yards. He probably get close to 13,000. Within the next 3 years, he's gonna jump over Eric Dickerson, Jerome Bettis, LaDainian Tomlinson, Kurt. Let's say he just gets 1,000, and he averages, I think 1,500 this year on a bad year. Last year 1,900. So he's gonna get it. Let's just be conservative. Say he gets 1,000 for the next 3 to 4 years, right? Because he's in the league. Well, let's say 3 years, right? Because he's in the league 10 years now.
He's been in the league 9 years.
9, so 10. Let's say 12 at a pretty high clip, right? Mm-hmm. That's 3 more years. So that'll give him about 16,000. So he's gonna be around where Frank Gore is at, probably past Frank Gore. He'll be in that Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, number 1 and 2 type of category. Mm-hmm. Here's another thing before I pass it off to Q. I found a crazy stat. And this I didn't find this myself. I saw this on the NFL channel. The stat was that he falls forward for 1 to 2 yards when he's tackled on nearly 90% of his runs.
That's crazy.
That's fucking insane, bro. So he's always gonna move the chain. You know what I'm saying? It was absolutely ridiculous. He has the craziest stiff arm pause.
Crazy.
That's just. I thought that was a cool stat, man. But you got guys like Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Frank Gore, Barry Sanders, Adrian Peterson, the guys I named. Guys like Jerome Bettis, Tony Dorsett, Jim Brown, Marshall Faulk, Edgerrin James. You got a lot of great fucking running backs. Fred Taylor, you know what I mean? You got Thurman Thomas. You got a good running backs. Jay says he's 5 or 6. I think it's a straight rusher. I would agree with you. Or I don't know if we're factoring like pass catching and all that other shit. Q, what's your take on this? Where would you put him? Is he in that top 5 to 6 like Jay said, or is he still a little bit down on that list? In your opinion?
It's kind of hard to, I don't like typically ranking any type of professional athlete especially when they're going against the greats that you just named. Because God forbid something can happen. He could just be like, yo, I'm retiring. That's it. I'm done after 10 years. And all right, you know what I mean? You still need the accolades, in my opinion, as well. And he has more than enough time that I think that if he continues on the warpath that he's going on, he's like a war machine with no Iron Man suit. You know what I mean? And if he continues on this warpath, I think he should be considered in people's eyes, maybe even top 3. You know what I mean? Because he's going to probably, and there's only one thing that's probably going to hurt him is not winning an MVP like the rest of the greats on the Mount Rushmore. But I think he got jerked. You know, he got jerked in 2020 and he got jerked in 2024, man. Like, he had almost, you know, and one was 2,000 rushing yards, and they gave it to Adrian Peterson for basically the same type of, success in that season. So, you know,
I feel talking about like Derrick when Adrian Peterson won MVP.
He had similar. It was very, very almost like to the number of like what the type of success that Derrick Henry had in 2020 and nearly what he had in 2024, to be honest, especially doing it in the same season of when Lamar Jackson had 1,000 rushing yards. And a lot of people have to understand he's having this much success, and we're naming him with people when the game of football was run, throw. Run, throw. Like, he's having this much success. That just goes to show that dude is just like what you said, Cash. You can't teach that. You can teach somebody how to, hey, grab the ball and go there like Forrest Gump, but you can't teach them the instincts and all that up. That's raw talent. And I feel like for him to do that in this day and age, and if he continues to do that for the next at least 4 years, he's going to be all the way up there. He's going to be on the Mount Rushmore of running backs because he's going to probably be number one in rushing touchdowns, and nobody's even going to be close to him, right? Because he's already there right now, almost. He's already, I think he's fourth. He's only a few more away from number one, and he's going to eventually get it, you know, in the next 3-4 years, and he's going to just, you know, break the backboard with it. And he's eventually going to get there in the other stats and other accolades. I just feel like right now it just really sucks that he never won an MVP, and, you know, he still hasn't won a Super Bowl. I don't think that's really going to hurt it because I feel like when you talk about the greatest, people got to also understand that we're talking about what they did during that time period when a lot of people weren't really doing that. Nobody right now, for the past 9 years, we can name all the other running backs that came into the league maybe a year before, a year after Derrick Henry. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing nearly what Derrick Henry is doing right now. And like I said, like I think he's gonna finish like 3 or 4, to be honest. I think he's gonna be on the Mount Rushmore in the next couple of years. They're gonna put him up there with, you know, the Emmitt Smith and the Barry Sanders and then whoever else people choose. But Derrick Henry's gonna be one of those guys that they said, hey, if you watch that guy play football, man, what a fun time it was to watch, and people just loved it. And he did it on multiple teams as well too. So that's another thing.
People thought he was slowing down when he went to the Ravens from the Titans a little bit because of all the physical punishment he took. Cuba, Jay, I want to get your thoughts on that too. But before I bring it back to you, you made a good point. You brought up a good point about the MVP and Adrian Peterson winning the MVP award, something Derrick Henry doesn't have. In my opinion, if you ask me, I think AP, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Adrian Peterson and was neck and neck with Peyton Manning that year, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he edged Peyton Manning out for that award. To me, that was like the kind of, he was Adrian Peterson. I want to say that was like 2012 or some 13, some shit like that, 14, whatever.
Yeah,
in that area, right? I saw it earlier, 2012, right? So whatever.
Yeah, it was like 2012. Yeah, because that was almost the same year. I think they won the Super Bowl. It was right around like the year before, the year after.
That was like the last, like that era. Like that was like the last of the QBs to win that award. Like after that, it became almost like strictly like a quarterback award. You know what I'm saying? Because you got guys like Jim Brown has an MVP, right? Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, Marshall Faulk, those Adrian Peterson, those guys have MVPs. Derrick Henry doesn't have those. It became more of QB wins the MVP in this era, and then you'll have like the Offensive Player of the Year awards and shit like that. So you can hold it against them, but you also can't hold it against them. What I think, I'm gonna put him top 10 for now. I think he's gonna climb to the top 5, but what I'm gonna say about him is he's not like the super. He doesn't block a lot, which is not a big deal. But he also doesn't catch a lot. He doesn't have the dual threat. He's not a pass catcher. He is what he is. He's a rusher. He's a straightforward, get downhill back. Like I mentioned before, he's going to be probably top 5 in all-time yards at the end of the day. Like you said, Q is going to smash the fucking rushing touchdown thing, leader. But I think he's not there yet. But I think when it's all said and done, he will be, in my opinion. Jay, you got anything to add to that?
I think you're making me and Q's point by saying the fact that he's not a good, not maybe not saying not a good pass catcher, but he doesn't get a lot of his
that's not his role.
It's not his role. The fact that this guy
he's
is
there to run the ball.
The fact that he's going to steamroll. He's gonna steamroll the other 11 men on the opposite side.
Crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy. I tried to save you.
That shit is crazy. Yeah.
I tried to
keep going, but you want to bring attention to it. Flag on the play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but the fact that he doesn't do that is even more astonishing because he doesn't get much yardage out of the backfield. It's all one full, like, I'm out. Give me the football and I'm gone. So to me, that makes him more dominant. That's almost like Shaq. Shaq really wasn't like a jump shooter. He was he could dunk the basketball. Did that detract from the fact that he was the most dominant big man ever in the NBA? I think you can almost make a case that Derrick Henry is the most dominant running back ever in the NFL.
Yeah, I definitely think he's one of a kind because he has when you start comparing, athletes to like have similarities to this guy, you very rarely hear that. Like he could be shifty like maybe like a LaDainian Tomlinson, but then run you over like Jerome Bettis. You know what I mean? Like and you know what I mean? Like and he looks like a fullback, runs like a running back, has speed to take it to the house, and then if there's a group of linebackers that are in front of him, I'm pretty sure they're probably more afraid of him than he is of them.
They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to make it, like at that point they're figuring out they're doing fucking algebra exams. They're trying to figure out angles and shit. They're trying to figure out how the fuck can I fucking because remember that's inertia. Like he's in motion. So you got to figure out how the fuck do I attack that?
Yeah. And you know what's sick too is that Lamar's been out a couple of times. Within the last couple of years since Derrick Henry's been there, Lamar's missed a decent amount of games. And what happens when Lamar, when your quarterback is out, especially, opposing DCs, what are they going to do? They're going to try to stack the fucking box. You know what I'm saying? Because they know you're predominantly going to rush when your main quarterback is out and you got a second string, a third string guy in there. You're not really slinging the ball up and down the field like that. It's more game manager. You're going to pay, and he's still busting off fucking 1,500 yards type shit.
Worse.
And when Lamar's there, he has to share the yards because Lamar gets a lot of design plays for runs. Not as much as he once did. He's kind of more in the pocket now, but he can get out there and scramble too. So that's something else you got to account for. He's a beast, man. He's a specimen, man. Like there's just people who are born with like I said earlier, God-gifted talents, man. And he's one of them, man. Like Jordan was one, like LeBron is one. Zion Williamson, even though he fell off, he's like just got those special gifts, man. Q, you brought up Jerome Bettis, guys like James Harrison, you know what I mean? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. These guys are just Miles Garrett.
Yeah.
These guys are just
Garrett.
Lawrence Taylor. These guys are just born with like that gift, man. That's what they're put here to do, and I think he is. And I think, I'm not gonna sit here and say y'all bugging the fuck out. I can see where y'all say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying right now he's certified top 10 in my opinion. But I think when it's all said and done, I think he's gonna go up to the top of. Don't think he'll ever because dudes like Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and Adrian
Emmett
Peterson.
Smith.
It's hard. Yeah, Emmett. I think Derrick. I mean, let's talk about the eye test for a minute. Forget about the stats.
Nostalgia that goes along with those guys. And I don't,
you might be right. You might be right.
I don't think it's fair that we do that because if we think about Barry,
Exactly.
we know Barry left the game too early. So we're always going to imagine how much.
That's
more
what makes
of
him
that,
ill, though. 10 seasons, he was a killer.
That's what I'm saying. And we're always going to imagine how much more would he have given us had he stayed in the game and had a team that made sense. Because that team was horrible.
Because the Lions was
They
trash.
were trash, right? You put Barry Sanders on this year's Lions, and it'd be a fucking. You might as well give him a ring, right?
Yeah.
But I think we equate that.
Same with Megatron, but yeah.
If we look at sweetness, you know what I'm saying? Like if we take a look and we say, there's a nostalgia or a glow around that character, around that football player that almost makes them like a character. Like they were like a superhero type of a player back then. Everybody wanted to be Walter Payton, the Sweetness, right, or be Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't like. I think realistically, if I just look at it, Barry to me is nombre, you know what I'm saying, probably number one. Like as far as
nombre uno.
Yeah, like if I look at what I watched him do, I was like, that's wild. Like how I'm in front of you and then abracadabra. You know what I'm saying? He's fucking. You know,
I never seen nothing like that.
I never seen no cut steps like that, no jump steps like that. I've never seen the fucking spin-offs. I've never seen anything like that.
He's like the motherfucker's like untouchable almost. Like
it was wild.
Shit was crazy.
It was wild. I've never seen instincts like that. So
I test. I'm saying Barry, like you, because
right.
we've been spitting out stats, pause, and all this shit. If we're doing if we gotta just go eye test, because that counts for something too, right? You know what I mean?
Well, of course.
Eye test. I might go Barry. I was too young to really see Walter Payton live. It was like 85 of these, you know what I mean? So I saw like, I caught like the tail end of this shit and I seen film. But Walter was like you say, he was crazy. I'll probably go Barry, Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson at his peak was a motherfucker too. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking the Chargers, LaDainian.
Yeah.
That's the only Chargers. That's the only LaDainian that we really like.
Yeah.
And niggas sleep on Curtis Morning. Like, but I think if you're going to eye test AP, because AP was different too. AP was different. I say Walter, and probably Daniel Tomlinson, and then Derrick. Then I'll go maybe Derrick Henry. Yeah, and Saquon could be there, and Christian McCaffrey could be there as well. He's such a dual threat at the end of the. This motherfucker. Q was talking about this the other day. I think he's like 100 yards short of 1,000 season, 1,000 rushing yards, 1,000.
Yeah,
that's insane, my dude. You feel what I'm saying? So. I think you're gonna. I don't know if he'll reach like greatest of all time status, but he's different too. You know what I mean? And Bijan's on motherfuckers next too right now. So too.
He's having a hell of a year. Bijan's having a hell of a year. Like there's a big gap between what he was last year and what he is this year. He was really good last year.
Yeah,
like I saw that ability, but this year, separated.
He
might be the best. He might be the best back in the league right now. To be totally honest with you.
Yeah. And right? we're just gonna have to see with a lot because they depend on him so much too.
And he's also a dual threat.
You know, but
he can catch the football out of the backfield too.
Yeah. But right now, Derrick Henry has almost every. Well, he's only missed 4 seasons without 1,000-yard rushing. That's crazy. That's crazy. And every other season is just crazy. He's averaging almost 14, 15. Yo, some people get that.
That shit is crazy.
2-3 times. Some people get that shit 2-3 times in their career.
It's like a norm for him.
Yo, they're ecstatic, yo. Yeah. He probably comes back. Home at the end of the season. Fuck, man. I only ran for 1,400 yards.
I mean, he's gonna have 1,500 this year. He's at 1,469 now. They got one more game.
Yeah, he's gonna run because that game is for all the marbles for the division.
He's gonna run.
So he's gonna run.
We still don't know whether Lamar will be back after the back injury. We may not see him on the field. So I don't
know. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
I mean, if he needs, what he needs.
That's definitely the game I'm going to be watching.
That's the game. Right now. There's a couple of good games this week, but that's the most highest leverage game and shit.
Yeah.
You brought up Lamar. We gotta talk Lamar too, man.
Before that, we gotta take a shot for Derrick Henry.
Want to take a shot?
We gotta take a shot for Derrick Henry.
All right. Take a shot. I'm gonna take a shot of my reader because I ran out of.
Take a shot of your reader, man. Take a shot of your
classic shit. I'm not ready to open yet. You ready? All right, we're gonna take a shot.
Word up. We gotta take a shot for Derrick
Henry. I'm getting loose now. Pause. I was a little.
You gotta take a shot for greatness, like what this show is going to become and is on its way of becoming.
Mm-hmm. We gotta get back to it. Let's go. All right, let's get loose. Yo, we talked about Derrick, and you just brought up Lamar. Obviously, they're teammates. You know what I mean? Okay, so look, I'm not on my rhythm today. All right, let me get in my rhythm. Pause. Yo, the last I want to say half a decade, right? there've been teams and quarterbacks who are basically just like gimmies, right, to be in the NFL playoffs. They're just mainstays. Guys like we all know the names, right? Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. I think you got to put Matthew Stafford in that. Jalen Hurts with his non-passing ass. You know what I'm saying? Which I fuck with though.
I can't stand Jalen Hurts.
I'm not that I can't. He's the only reason I don't fuck with him because the Eagle. But we'll talk about that for another day. Other than that, he's a winner. He's like the Derrick Jeter of football and shit. Not quite to that level, but anyway. And like I said, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, guys like that, and Lamar Jackson. You know what I mean? To be quite honest, these guys you look at, they're in the play. They're in the playoffs every year, whether it be AFC or NFC. Lamar, to me, to me personally, everyone knows I'm a Lamar guy. I'm gonna say some shit in this segment that people are gonna say I'm hating on him, but I'm just talking facts. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Lamar. I fuck with Lamar Jackson. That's my adopted team when the Giants, because they seem to be always out of it the last fucking decade. I usually roll with the Ravens. You know what I'm saying? I lived down in that area for a while. I fuck with Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, to me, he's the most talented. Like just talent. We talked about the eye test a little while ago. Maybe the most talented quarterback I've ever seen, man. Maybe he's not the most accomplished, although he is very accomplished personally. But in terms of like winning a Super Bowl yet, maybe not the most accomplished. But talent wise,
some playoff games. But keep going.
Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, talent wise, to me, he's the best I've ever seen. I really fuck with him because he's overcome so much adversity. When he started his career, you remember when he started his career, they were all suggesting, they tried to. Matter of fact, they tried to convert him to a fucking wide receiver.
Wide out, yeah.
You could never pass in the pocket like some old school racist quarterback shit. You know what I'm saying? He was 32nd. I think he was 32nd in the league, and 32nd in the draft. Low draft pick, first round. I think he was behind Joe Flacco when he first came. And they were saying, he can only run, and he proved he could get down in the pocket because he's actually become a pocket passer right now. You know what I'm saying? And he can run, and he's actually a really good pocket passer if you ask me. So that you got to give him a lot of credit for that. You know what I'm saying? That shows you he's not just a runner. He's not just a dumb athlete. Shut up and go back to practice. He's got some sharps, right? Like with that being said, dynamic athlete. A defensive coordinator's fucking nightmare. You know what I'm saying? I seen him slice up some of the best defensive DCs and coaches, some of the best defensive minds in football history. He used to give Bill Belichick fits. You know what I'm saying? Guys like Spagnuolo, guys we hold to like the super high standard. Guys like, Brian Flores, this new guy Shula, guys like, Matt Burke, the Texans DC. You know what I'm saying? And listen, has he came up big in the postseason? No, he hasn't. You know what I'm saying? But that's not entirely his fault. It's partly his fault. I'm not going to absolve him of sins. You know what I'm saying? But the lack of postseason success, you could attribute it a little bit to him. You could attribute it a little bit to poor team play. Last year, he drove down the field in that comeback drive against the Bills. I was like, wow, this is his moment. This is a superstar is going to be born right now. And what happens? Mark Andrews drops that fucking game-tying pass two-point conversion in the final minute of the divisional round playoff game. That hurt, man. And I know that hurt Mark Andrews, and that really that could have I don't want to say solidified, but that was, to me, a star was about to be born, and somehow they snatched that from him, right? But anyway, there's been a drop-off, to say the least, from regular season, and there's a little bit of a drop-off in performance for postseason, right? I'm going to tie this up in a second. Like I said, you can't blame it all on Lamar, but you can't blame it all on the team. They've had some dominant defenses, and the offense couldn't finish the job. Whatever the case may be, he hasn't had the playoff success. With that being said, this week there's an article that came out by Mike Preston in the Baltimore Sun-Times. Excuse me. Now, before we dig all the way in, I just want to say, Mike Preston, from what I've seen and did my research on him, he's not no fly-by-night bullshit-ass journalist. You know what I'm saying? He's been at this paper a long time. He's reputable. He's well-respected in the world of journalism. And obviously, the Baltimore Sun-Times is a reputable mainstay in the Baltimore community. You know what I'm saying? It's the LA Times. It's the New York Times, that type of shit. the article basically, the title of the article was Ravens and Lamar Jackson are at a crossroad. Can the two-time NFL most valuable player ever get over the hump in Baltimore? Right? Something we just talked about, right? Didn't seem, kind of what everyone's asking, right? But then when you actually read the fucking article, it gets a little grimy, for lack of a better term. In the article, basically, he talks about that him and Harbaugh, which I wasn't really privy to in the breast, that him and Harbaugh, Lamar and Harbaugh, have not been on the same page for a long time. He said Harbaugh is sick of Lamar. Even every time I hear Harbaugh in the press conferences, post presses, and all that shit, he's always giving Lamar praise, at least publicly, right? He lists things like maybe Lamar doesn't take the best care of himself physically. He says things like this was kind of weird. He says things like he stays up all night playing video games. He's doing some Abdul Carter shit, right? Falling asleep in team meetings and shit. You know what I'm saying? He's getting special, and he basically said, the special treatment for Lamar. And they move practice. The whole team and the coaching staff likes to practice in the morning, but Lamar, him being Lamar Jackson, now we all know superstars get special treatment. That's just the way it is. You cry about it all the fuck you want. That's just what it is. But they move practices to the afternoon to accommodate Lamar, I guess, from staying up all night playing video games. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But so you're hearing that stuff, and they kind of insinuate that the reason why the Ravens haven't won a championship is partly because Lamar doesn't seem like he has the work ethic, the drive. They all also allude to the fact that he gets injured a lot, and maybe that his attrition could be due to him, not taking care of himself.
Playing video games.
Saying I'm playing that video games. They're saying, eating fast food, not treating himself right. The antithesis of what LeBron was, because LeBron is like, I spent $1 million, I ate right, and to be honest with you, attrition is kind of hitting him now, but he's eluded it for most of his career. And he's 3 fucking years of some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give him credit. Same thing with Tom Brady. But that's a long-winded way of saying, what do let me also say this. They mentioned in this article that they're also in contract negotiations. So whoever leaked that to the press at the time could have an agenda. You know what I mean? It could be, when there's contract negotiations, it's all fair and love of war. Business is crazy. So it could be leaked to the press. They're trying to, maybe
lower his value.
Some saying that they kind of want to move off of him. I heard Brandon Teeny talking today that it's a possibility. Always a possibility he can go to the gym. Every quarterback, every superstar quarterback that runs into a little bit of shit, they say bring him to the Jets. Right?
Don't bring him to the Jets.
You know what I mean? But let me ask you this: do you guys, for one, what do you guys think of the article? Do you think there's any merit to that? Do you think it's a smear campaign? And two, do you think Lamar's falling off, and do you blame him for the lack of postseason success that the Ravens were having? Q, you rock first because we went to Jay earlier first.
I think it's not completely a load of bullshit, but it's I think it's smothering in it. You know what I mean? Like
smells a little bit.
It smells
like a fart.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, with every, with all these type of articles and that shit, there's always some truth in it. You're not telling me he's not playing video games? Everybody plays video games, man. It's 2025, bro. You play video games. I'm not.
I wonder if he uses himself.
You know what I mean?
So?
Like,
and Matt, you think he's playing with Lamar? I play with myself. Go ahead.
I would.
I digress.
I bet you do.
That's I gotta let it. Yo, I started off bad today, man. Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck happened to me?
You know what I'm saying? Whoa. No, I'm telling you. Pause.
Yo. Pause. Damn, I'm out of pocket today.
Pause.
Yo, come on.
Pause.
That's disrespecting.
Pause.
Everything was going smooth.
Everything was going smooth.
Jesus.
But
all right, my fault.
But nah, I definitely think there's a little bit of truth in it. I think what that truth is the frustration. I think that he's probably just unhappy there. Look, the Ravens are ranked 25th in defense, man. That's not what they're known for. Like, They're like
true.
They just started becoming that offensive team that nobody can stop, and now they're becoming the team that can't stop offense. Like nobody's really scared of the Ravens, man. Like to be honest, right now, man. Like they're just, and unfortunately, it just happened to happen on a season where he happened to get injured. So what about all the other seasons where he was? So if his nutrition was that bad, and if you still with that childish mentality, that shit don't just kick in that you want to play video games in your 8th season on an NFL football team.
Yeah.
He would have been doing that all those other seasons. Last season when he threw 41 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, ran for 1,000 yards. You know what I mean? Like was he? No, man. Like I say, like yeah. So what? And maybe he was falling asleep, but who?
Wait.
Like who?
Can I say one thing? Can I? And I don't mean to cut you off. Do you think? Right. I said the same thing. 8 seasons. We never heard this shit before. Through all the unanimous MVPs and all pros and the fucking all the accolades he got. Right? Could it be he was on some Roy Jones shit, Zion Williams shit, just going on raw talent and instinct, and you know what I'm saying? Because gifted athletes, sometimes they don't gotta read the playbook. I don't mean specifically. You know what I mean? Roy Jones is one of the most gifted fucking boxers. Maybe he lacked a little bit of fundamentals, but he was so athletically gifted that when he started to like fall off a little bit, so to speak, right? You kind of gotta rely on, your work ethic, the way you eat, the way you work out, and in your fundamentals. Do you think that Lamar could have just been living off of just raw talent? Just a thought. No, I don't think so. Just a thought.
No, and the only reason I don't think so is because I think he would have fell off a little bit harder. He would have made a really wrong decision when running the ball this season. Right. And he had a decent season. He missed like 4 or 5 games or whatever it may be. But when you really that down in and you just not paying attention to anything and. All right, so then that's what you've been doing. That like I said, like that just doesn't happen overnight. Like there's more to the story that nobody want to say because it's probably gonna make the whole organization look bad, and it's gonna make the coach look bad because that's John Harbaugh. Like he's been the most successful Ravens coach probably in the history of their organization. You can't have him looking like shit, but. When you have the talent that he has, I don't think that he was coming into the game like you know what I mean? Like, oh, I just want to sleep during this meeting. No, because you know why? I find it hard to believe that he would even slack because like he learned how to change up his game. Like you don't work hard and change and transition into a better pocket passer without trying to improve your skill. He could have just kept throwing the ball for 2,300 yards like he's been doing since he got into the league and been running it for 1,000 because that's what he could do. But no, when you throw for 35 and then 4,000, like, all right, something is changing. Something happened with him, right? Like, which in a good way. Like he became more of a now he's running and you surround him around some better receivers and a better squad. Like, there's more to the story, and it's probably due to the unsuccessful, like the success that they haven't had and accomplished, which can change the demeanor. And he's also been, he's injured this season. It just it sucks, and I feel like for him, I feel like he's a quick scapegoat. Oh shit, man! Man, the Ravens suck, man. He's fucking falling asleep at camp, and now they're overshadowing how great that, Derrick Henry's been playing and they're forgetting about how bad the defense has been playing. And what about some of the decisions that John Harbaugh has been making throughout the season as well? So, okay, it's quick to just blame the quarterback because he's the most important position. And then as soon as you say, oh, he's playing video games so late. Bro, I play video games too, my nigga, and I'm fucking 38. And I can play till 3, 4 in the morning and I can wake up. Obviously, I'm not working like these guys that performing at high capacity, but still, I'll wake up, take my daughter to school, I'll do what I gotta do, and I'll perform.
And run the 4 too.
I tell you, I'll fucking run. I run a 4. I run a 5.3. I run a 5.3 or some shit. You know what I mean? But still, like all jokes aside, I just I think there's a lot more to the story, and I think just one news article coming out and just saying, yeah, this is what's really happening. You know what I mean? Writers do what writers do, man. Like when you write a fiction, that's because somebody told you something true and you had to add some source to it, and then you made a good book that you know what I mean, that wasn't true, but it stemmed from a real idea or from something that had to mean some type of truth. And I think it all revolves around frustration with what's going on with this team right now.
Good take, man. Real good take. Jay, holla at your boy, man.
I think two things could be true at the same time. There is a significant drop off, and some of it could very well be. I mean, I saw a video maybe about 3 or 4 months ago of Lamar the food truck. He looked high as fuck, and he was and he was getting somebody
I saw that. Yeah. He was eating like a hot dog or some shit, right? Like
some type of bullshit. He was at.
Anything but a glizzy, Lamar. Jesus Christ.
So I mean, again, the guy still has to eat. So I think I don't want to castrate the guy because he fucking went to go get some chow. But the long and the short of what I'm trying to bring out to you is I don't know that. And I had him in fantasy football, so I'm a little bit pissed with him as it is. So he might get the wrath of what he the season he fucked up for me. But no, just all jokes aside, he had some injuries that slowed him down this year. And over his past few years, you're starting to see that the game is taking a little bit of a toll on him. Mm-hmm. But is he the same Lamar? No, he's not gonna be. He's
not the same Lamar. You don't think?
He's not.
He's lost a step.
He absolutely has.
Okay.
He's declining. He's declining. There's nothing wrong with that. Like Tom Brady declined, but he found other ways to get it done. Now this is
he's fallen from such a high level that his decline is
the drop seems a lot greater than the average. You know what I'm saying? Because we're so used to him being able to take off at the drop of a hat and do something, and we didn't see any of that this year. At no point did he take off. I think he had fucking 300 rushing yards this year, something like that. So, and again, so he was out a lot of games. But even if he had the same amount of games off last year, he'd probably be somewhere at the 700-800 mark at this point. It's such a stark difference to what we're used to seeing from him. He has to figure out ways where this area goes up if the body goes down. And I don't think that's happening with him right now. I don't think he's happy there. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that he's enjoying playing football. Joe Burrow made a really profound statement about the way he felt about the game and how his enjoyment was a big part of why he did this. And I think it's a possibility that Lamar's not really enjoying himself. There's the joy of the game. He doesn't look engaged. Like even like if you look at his body language and his facial expressions at breaks, like I'm going into commercial break, he doesn't look like the same guy. He doesn't look like just enthused. Some of it could be the offensive scheme. Some of it could be that the team is losing. A good portion of it could be that his body is breaking down on him and he's not in the best shape. So that also could correlate to not the inappropriate amount of rest or the lack of preparation during the offseason or what he's consuming. All those things could absolutely contribute to that. I think right now Lamar is in need of a restart, and that could come in the way of a possible move to another team, which I don't think is doable, or another face in the front of that coaching room, and that is probably more doable. I don't think you let go of Lamar. If you let go of Lamar Jackson, then you have to go into a complete rebuild. He is such a big, intricate part of what that
might
team
be
is.
what they're trying to do, right? They might be trying to.
They can't. They'd have to move away from Harbaugh. Harbaugh would be the one that you get rid of because another Lamar Jackson's not walking through that door.
Yeah, facts.
You can go to the draft right now, and the best you're gonna probably get is maybe Fernando Mendoza. That's not Lamar Jackson. And not that they have the first pick. I'm just saying, like, if
but they could go. You bring up that they could trade up to the Jets or whoever has.
Even if you're not bringing in Fernando Mendoza to replace Lamar Jackson, like they'd fucking burn Baltimore down. It'd be over. The best bet would be to get a different voice. At some point, the cognitive dissonance kicks in. You got two different programs banging against one another, and Lamar is going to win every trip because he's just worth more to that franchise than John Harbaugh.
You bring up a good point, Jay.
Yeah, that was a good.
That's a great take too. But let me say this: you say that Baltimore would burn down M&T Stadium rather than let Lamar walk through those doors, and I get it. Baltimore is right next to Chocolate City. I've been in Baltimore. I got niggas in Baltimore. Cuban in Baltimore with me. Doing niggas know I know the area well, so I know what he means to that city. above football. You feel what I'm saying? But Pat Riley in 1994, and I read a book maybe 2 years ago, Blood on the Garden Floor, and I already knew this, but I like I'm a big reader. Q know this. I kind of haven't read it in a while, but I have a lot of books under my belt. Pat Riley said one of the problems were him and Dave Checkers had, right, in that early 90s, Knicks Pat Riley shit, was he wanted to trade, and Jay, you probably remember this because we're around the same age. He wanted to trade Patrick Ewing. Give Anthony Mason like the point, kind of make Anthony Mason the man. And niggas was like, what do you mean trade Patrick Ewing? Patrick Ewing's the friend. Patrick Ewing was in the league 10 years at the time. I think he came out in 84. He's the fucking man. There's a couple of centers in the league, David Robinson, Elijah One. Him at the time, and Shaq was still kind of new. Excuse me. And niggas was like, what do you mean you want to trade Patrick Ewing? Like, he's the superstar. His theory was, and this is one of the reasons, other than Miami giving him ownership why he left, is he'd rather get something while he still can for him. Trade him a year earlier than a year late. You feel what I'm saying? If I'm the fucking, Steve Bisciotti or them, maybe that's how I'm thinking as well. I want to play this clip, and I want to ask you what you think. It's Nick Wright on Lamar Jackson.
But Lamar Jackson can be a great player, can be a great person, while also having some immaturity to him. Oh, yeah. And the reason that I have hammered KW, the him getting sick every year thing is not because I'm trying to be funny. It is because I had and have reason to believe that he's not just super unlucky, that there are things adults know they need to do to give them the best chance to be as healthy as possible. And I think most of his colleagues, other star quarterbacks, do those things, and it doesn't seem like Lamar does. And that, whether that's diet, whether that's sleep habits, whether that's, how he spends his personal time, whatever it is, those are fair criticisms. And everything doesn't have to be binary. It doesn't have to be good guy, but
Jay, that's kind of speaking to what you said. Everything doesn't have to be binary. Two things can be fucking true, right? Maybe it's a little bit of the Ravens getting out in front of the negotiations, trying to bring the price down a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of him not taking the best care of himself, you know what I'm saying, a la Tom Brady. Tom Brady's like the standard with the TB12 shit and the stretching and being pliable. And it proved to be right because he lasted a long time and he won MVP late in his career and he won Super Bowls late in his career. Maybe it could be a little bit of that. And maybe it could be everything. Two things can be true at the same time. Q, before we get off the subject, you got anything to say about that?
Nah, you know what when you said that, it kind of resonated with me because it brought me back to like when you talked about getting rid of John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I thought of what the Giants did. We didn't get, and even though this is toward the end of Eli's tenure anyway, here they got rid of Tom Coughlin, which was the face of the New York Giants. He brought us those 2 rings, in that time period, and they got rid of him first. Like NFL, their methodology of how they move their key pieces is so different because it's built much differently. So I could definitely see that. Like Jay, that was a good point. Like I could definitely see them harnessing. Like, hey, get rid of him. Get rid of John Harbaugh. Because that's probably why there's even rumors out there of John Harbaugh going to the Giants. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's ready out. You know what I mean? He's a great coach. And I think he has the leadership and everything. But you can't lose that type of star talent, especially when your team performs that well. So consistently, and then to start a rebuild right now. Basically in the prime of your running back, and you're losing your star quarterback. It just seems like you're moving backwards at that point. It's like, okay, so we're losing all the talent at the most important spot, and now we're just gonna all right, we're gonna flip a coin and just see. Hopefully, this year or next year's draft, we happen to pick one out of the rough again. You know what I mean? And that's just at that point, you just gambling with your eyes closed.
Yeah, because it can't be. like John Harbaugh, and this is in his defense. He didn't forget how to coach, but a voice can get stale after some point. It can absolutely get stale.
You lose locker room, yeah.
And you can lose it faster when you're not winning. And Lamar not being healthy, not necessarily hitting the cover off the ball this year, accelerates that because now the voice gets even worse. Because you don't want to hear why we're losing. You want to hear how do we go about winning. And unfortunately, the most dominant player on your team, who's ball dominant, he has the ability to touch the football every single play on offense, and he's not able to do the things that he was able to do last year. And unfortunately, you gotta look at somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And last point in this is winning covers up the stink. Winning covers up the fucking stink. It's the great cologne, right? And they're vying for the division next week, right? They're not the Baltimore Ravens of the years past.
Yeah.
They kind of hit a bump. They're going against the Steelers next week. Maybe, they beat the Steelers and they get in the playoffs, and maybe, everyone starts to be a little bit more happy. But overall, it's been a mediocre year.
Only if they have success in the playoffs. They can't go and be a one and done because then it's the same thing. It's just a repeat, a rinse and repeat of last year.
It's a rinse and repeat.
The year before. I don't know that they, like they're not making it to the second round. They're not becoming, they're not competing for the most coveted trophy.
Yeah. Right, and I gotta agree with you, Jay. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I gotta agree with you. If it's between Harbaugh and you too, Q, if it's between Harbaugh and Lamar, you can't let Lamar walk out them doors. Man. You know what I'm saying? You can't let Lamar walk out the door unless you just get an offer you can't refuse. You know what I mean? Like he's going. You could theoretically get 4 number ones for Lamar. You could
still at that point you're resetting your franchise 3 years back though.
You are you're blowing it up at that point.
You're blowing it up. You're resetting the franchise 3 years. You're not going to be relevant again until 2030.
Right. Yeah. 2-time MVP, 1 unanimous, first team All Pro, 3 years, Pro Bowl, 4 or 5 years, offensive player of the year, 3 years. I mean, the accolades is just fucking insane, man. Like, it's fucking nuts,
you get a new voice in there.
All-time QB rushing leader. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, you know what I mean? We had to bring it up, but
and you communicate with Lamar heavily about where you want to go with that new voice to make sure that they match, and that will inspire and spark hopefully Lamar to start to operate differently if there is a real concern about how he spends his free time, what he's consuming, how he's handling his health, the different things that absolutely you can judge him on when it comes to playing the position of quarterback. Hopefully those things rectify themselves based on a new voice and someone that's going to give him some guidance or someone that he has more confidence in at this point.
Let him get healthy. Lamar, if you're listening, I'm not saying you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, but get healthy.
With more.
Like, you're getting older. Start treating your body right, pause, you know what I'm saying? And get back to who you are. Listen, I'm going to say this like this. Anyone who thinks Lamar ain't that guy, 2024, last year, or the year before last, kind of led the league, 41 TDs, 119 passer rating, and became the first QB with 4,000-plus passing yards and 800 rushing yards. Enough said. Game over. Elite.
Should have had the MVP.
Should have had the motherfucker. They gave it to Josh Allen just because they didn't want to. They did some fucking Joker shit in the NBA. They didn't want to give it to Giannis shit. They didn't want to give it to them a 3rd year in a row, which is bullshit. So they gave it to Embiid that year. You know what I mean? So shout out to Lamar Jackson, man.
Yeah, we need to talk about that one day, man. Like, I think we need to talk about like how they be just rewarding this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it just be like so. It's so like I don't know, man. I don't want to change the topic because
let's talk some hoops. Let's talk some hoops. I want to hoop too, man. I'm gonna hoop tomorrow and shit. I ain't hooped in about a month, which is crazy.
Word?
Yeah, I ain't hooped in a minute, man. I'm and when I don't hoop for a month at my this time, I'm 50 years old. It's like not hooping for like 6 months. You know what I mean? It's like it's magnified and shit.
Oof.
It's like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't hooped in like a year, so that's probably like 15
That's
years.
10 years because you pushing 40, so you're not there yet. But you're not. I was still pliable at 37 pause, but we'll talk about that another time. Yo, we wanted to talk. We wanted to bring this up because as New York Knicks fans, we're a little bit jaded. You know what I mean? We went all these years without superstars wanting to come here. You know what I'm saying? Without any type of winning, you know, with basketball. You know what I mean? We had the Yankees and the Giants a little bit. But, you know, in terms of basketball, you know, the Nets had their little run. But New York City was like, nobody wanted to fuck with it. KD ain't want to fuck with us. Kyrie ain't want to fuck with us. What did KD say? It ain't cool to be in New York. Fuck you, cuz. You know what I'm saying? New York is the shit. You know what I'm saying? And then Jalen Brunson came to town. You know what I mean? First, Julius Randle. Let me give Julius Randle his props. Julius Randle came, and to me, he was the you know, the OG of turning the shit around, him and Tom Thibodeau, right?
Yeah.
But he never reached Jalen Brunson level. Jalen Brunson came to New York, and everyone was, including myself, everyone was like, "You gave this motherfucker $100 million, Leon Rose. What are you doing?" Be like Donovan Mitchell. What, you know what I mean? We was mad because the negotiations with Danny Ainge fell apart, and we gave Jalen Brunson $100 million, and he had just a decent postseason with the Mavs when Luka was out. You know what I'm saying? And I know he was good, but we didn't know Jalen Brunson was this nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson is that nigga. You feel? He's him. You know what I'm saying? But I still feel that he don't get his props. Now they you know, certain dudes in the media champion him. You know, shout out to Perk. Perk is always championing him. You know, big body Brunson and everything. But there's a lot of, you know, dudes like Charles Barkley and that goofy ass motherfucker Paul Pierce. And I like, you know what I like? I'll be watching that Paul Pierce Kevin Garnett shit because Kevin Garnett is as mean spirited as that motherfucker is mean spirited. As mean spirited as he is, he keeps it 1,000 with the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? He don't. You can see Paul has a personal issue with the Knicks for whatever fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? KG kind of keeps it real. You know what I'm saying? Like the other day they said that he was like, that motherfucker Cole is balling, man, but he looks like he looks like the fucking Knicks, like he does the Knicks taxes and shit. Yeah, them niggas is hilarious. But not to get off Jalen Brunson. I feel like Jalen Brunson, even after all he's done with Thibodeau and Miami and progressing every year, and even, you know, from going from the first round to the second round, and last year making the Eastern Conference Finals, and, you know, though they didn't reach the ultimate goal, you see the progression. You see the progression in his game. He's a star. He's not the most athletic star. He doesn't have the most athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? But he can just hoop. I feel they shit on him, you know what I'm saying? And I not shit on him, but I feel he doesn't get the props he deserves. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about best point guards in the league, you know, you hear Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Obviously, you can't say nothing about that. Shea is, you know, Shea's the guy. You know what I'm saying? He's got a chip. Can't really argue that. Luka, you know what I'm saying? Okay, Steph Curry solidified. I get all of that. Can't say nothing about Steph. And, you know, then you might hear Jaden Brunson's name, but now you're starting to hear guys like Cade Cunningham. I like Cade Cunningham. I understand what he did last year against the Knicks. It was just coming out party. I understand what Detroit is doing this year. Last time I checked, this is the second year he hasn't won shit. You know what I'm saying? So how are we crowning him? You know what I'm saying? Guys like Devin Booker, I'm hearing his name. Tyrese Maxey, right? Boom. Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox. I get all of that shit. Donovan Mitchell, who I fuck with. I don't want to shit on Donovan Mitchell. But what are we talking about here, man? You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, the top point guards in the league are Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say Donovan Mitchell number 2. I'm gonna say Donovan or Luka number 2. Okay. And I can't even really crown Luka number 2, but I'm gonna say Donovan or Luka number 2. Then I think you got to put Brunson there. Steph Curry, we're going to put him in another box because he's at the tail end of his career. He's a top great of all time. You know what I'm saying? He's like Jordan. You got to put Jordan over there when you talk about the greats and shit. You know what I'm saying? Steph is the greatest fucking shooter to ever live. Jalen Brunson, top 3 point guard in the league, and do you think that they be shitting on him, don't get the brother's props?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that goes into them not giving him his props. And some of it is just it's our logo. It's the Knicks. Like they've been irrelevant for so long.
A lot of hate in New York. Yeah.
People have to, and we're so brash and we're very
we're so arrogant,
and aggressive and shit. So people enjoy seeing us.
Yeah, it's a fact. That's a great point. They do.
They do. So he's getting the doubt because of that, not because of his play. Because if you look at the play, like what are the real criteria options, right? Impact on winning. I think he's probably the most. Last year they had him as the most clutch in the entire league.
Player of the year, no doubt.
So that would be the biggest. He would be number one if we go impact of winning, right? Scoring efficiency, maybe a little bit. He shoots a little bit more than maybe he should, but he makes a lot more than we anticipate too. That floater in the lane, he finds his spot. He goes to his own pace. He can shoot the 3-ball if necessary.
Footwork,
everything about it, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to be somewhere in the top 2 or 3 there as well, right? Playmaking ability and facilitating is where I think he takes a hit because he's such a good scorer. He's not like a super assist guy.
He's not pass first.
So maybe if you want to kill him on that, I'm fine with that. Two-way ability, he'll also take a hit on. I don't think he's a really good defender. So I think
he's not on-ball defender. He's decent, decent help defender. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. But as far as leadership and clutch factor, I'd say this guy's number 1. So what are we really talking about? If we use that as the criteria of what we're gonna name for our guys, I'd say he's probably number 2, maybe, if you want to put him behind Shea, because I don't feel like Luka checks all those boxes either. You know what I mean?
Preach.
If we're gonna really have a real conversation about it, I don't think and Steph, like you said, I think we have to take Steph out of it because he's been so great for so long, and there's so many things, and he's got the championship rings, and
he's one of the GOATs. He's in that.
You got to defend the guy as soon as he gets off the airplane type shit. So I think you have to take him out. I don't want to start to hear the conversations about Tyrese Maxey and Cade Cunningham, or John Morant.
Cade is cold, but not yet.
No, not yet. And I don't want to hear Tyrese Halliburton either. I know that he's injured right now, but I know that they'll probably at some point start trying to trickle his name back into that conversation. And I damn sure don't want to hear John Morant. He's already 86 himself.
Yeah, he's gone. What about my man, Spider? Spider Cole.
But there's some boxes
and he like a tri-state guy too, so I got a little affinity for him.
He gets busy, but I don't feel that he makes his team better. Like I don't know that he's that guy like that. Like there still I think are a lot of holes in his game. Does he impact winning? I'd say yes. Can he score? Absolutely. I don't know that he's a super playmaker either. I don't know that that
he's a score first guy.
Yeah, he's a score first guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's a super defender either. Maybe he's a better on-ball defender because of his.
I'm gonna look his defensive rating up. Go ahead, yeah.
Right? But as far as a leader, I don't know. And then looking at him right now with Cleveland, they're in a quagmire right now of mediocrity because him and fucking Garland, they just don't seem like they're in sync. So
I thought they had it together last year, but this year,
they don't really seem like they're in sync. And I'm not seeing anything special from the big man. Not Jared Allen, fucking Evan Mobley. Mm-hmm. Evan Mobley doesn't look like he really has taken that next step that we would have liked to see him take after last season. Jared Allen is still going to give you what Jared Allen gives you, but that's on a game-to-game basis. We're not going to see that consistently. He kind of gets in where he fits in. They brought over fucking Lonzo Ball for what? I don't know. That team.
Donovan Mitchell's 110, so he's not. It's not elite. Put it like that.
So I don't know that I'm putting him ahead of. I'm not putting him ahead of Brunson. Me personally, I think I'm going Shea, and then I'm going Brunson, and then I'd probably look at Luka because of how.
You going Brunson over Luka? I like what you're talking about, my brother. I fuck with that.
Yeah, I'd probably put Luka right behind Brunson because of how Luka can also. He's very, very crafty, and he can. But he's also a defensive liability. So I'd say Luka right behind Brunson, me personally. That's my 3.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. And for those who might try to shit on my man's take right now, keep in mind Jalen Brunson just cracked the top 5 in MVP voting this year. So make that make sense. Q, talk to me.
Word.
Jalen Brunson, top 3, top 5, top 2, number 1. What are we talking about here, man? New York, stand the fuck up.
All right, now we talking
What we talking about?
We talking right now? We talking like right now, right now?
Talking right now, right now.
We talking right now, right now?
Right now.
I think there's even almost an argument that you could even say he's number one. Like if you want to say, you know, talent wise and all this stuff.
Off this shit. That's,
you know, you want because you want to say talent wise and all that shit, man. Yeah, that's cool, man. What? Because they're gonna say what? Oh, Cade Cunningham's a 2-way player. He's 6'8". Oh, Luka Doncic, man, he can score the ball off will, and he's just a slow motion. All right,
turnstile on defense.
Yeah.
But so is Jalen.
You know, like SGA could score on will, but all right. So does everybody know right now that Jalen Brunson has averaged the most points this season by taking the least amount of free throws, which was something that was totally opposite that he did last season. Yeah. And he was fighting neck and neck with SGA with those free throws. So that means he's scoring more just because he's good. And he's just the clutch guy that we all know. And he could beat the teams that SGA has not this season yet. In the most pivotal moments. So, you know, and then you could incorporate a sprinkle, the salt and pepper. We mix up the pot. And then, you know what? We're going to get a little bit of more of some clutchness from Jalen Brunson. Because you know what? When he steps on that court, that's the last man you want to see on that court. When it knows that, oh, man, we're down by 2, down by 3, or we up by 1, we up by 2. Shit, they could be up by 7 with 2 minutes to go. Them niggas is worried that they could still lose by 10. Yep. You know, like, and, you know, he creates plays to the point where you don't expect it. I think he's a better player because I think he's changed his game the most than a lot of these point guards have that we just all named, right? Because he's dealing with a whole different cast now that he's there. Because Mike Brown, like, not only is he dealing with a new head coach, but he's also dealing with a new supporting cast that he has to go in there and teach. So he has 2-3 other jobs. He has to work with, you know, either rookies or bench players that are coming off the bench to help him facilitate, or he has to deal with the after the work shit and be like, yo, bro, Tyler Cole, this is what you gotta do. You saw when he smacked him in the back of the head. Yo, get off my seat, little man. Go do my taxes. You know?
He embraced. Yo, Kevin Garnett called him James Dolan Jr. He embraced Cole. You know, Cole's his little man's and shit. So I respect that too. He could have been on some bullshit with him. You know what I mean? Nigga trying to take my job type shit. Like, he embraced him. We gotta respect that guy.
And I think when you mix all that now, like, people got to understand, when you talk about, like, the best right now, we're not talking the best ever, you know what I mean? Because then you're talking out of character. And then if you're talking about the best from last year, but I'm talking about, like, the best right now. Currently right now, I guarantee you there is plenty of other point guards that I guarantee you the other 31 teams rather face than Jalen Brunson because of that reason. Because they know that this team with Jalen Brunson on the court, no matter what the score is, no matter what's going on, no matter what home court you're on, it could be away, it could be home, it could be whoever's reffing the game, for God's sakes. Yo, how much shit do we need to have our back against the wall? As long as Jalen Brunson's on that court, we have a chance to win the game, bro. Checkmate, bitches.
Say it louder for the motherfuckers in the back.
Yeah.
I'm drunk right now.
That's right.
But yo, I agree, and we're gonna get out of here. Good take, yo. Good, y'all motherfuckers cooked today, man. I give y'all some props. Y'all motherfuckers cooking. I gotta say, Jay, you said what? You said 2?
Oh, me and Jay taking the shot because it sounds like you're about to disagree with us.
No. I'm about to give him props. Jay said number 1.
Salute, Jay.
Space.
I said it's debatable for him to be number 1. Jay said 2.
Number 2. So
I'm gonna go 2. I gotta give Shea, because I think Shea's a better defender right now than him. You know what I'm saying? And he's got a chip. You know what I'm saying? So you can't. You know what I mean? There gotta be some type of I'm as much of a homer as anyone. I rep for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Not homer, motherfuckers. Don't get crazy in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Homer as anyone, but I gotta be some type of some type of fucking unbiased analysis. Not saying that y'all wasn't doing it, but yeah, Jalen number 2. Listen, Jalen makes people look. There's no more Chris Pauls in the fucking league, bro. There's no more Chris Pauls in the league. There's no more John Stocktons. There's no more, Magics. There's no more, throw a name out there that makes people better.
Like Chris Paul in his prime, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like true pass first, point guard.
Yeah, Steve Nash.
Stockton, Steve Nash,
Tony
Chris
Parker,
Paul, Jason Kidd. Guards like that, you know what I'm saying? There's no more of those. It's a wing league right now. But if we're talking point guards, it's basically point guards, they go to the bucket, man. They go to the cup. They try to score. And Jalen can do that with the best of them. And Jalen does it under the fucking rim. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys, K's above the rim. These guys are above the rim. But I always say his footwork is that of a fucking center or Keem Olajuwon or like a power forward or like a really good, post wing guy. Jalen doesn't make dudes better in terms of like how he passes the ball. He just makes dudes better because
spacing,
his spacing, his leadership, his willing to, fucking accept and buy into what the coaches are doing. He bought into what Thibodeau was doing. He was a good soldier. You know what I'm saying? You heard Mikal Bridges, talk a little bit reckless. You heard Cat talk a little bit reckless. You never really heard Jalen talk a little bit reckless. Although maybe behind closed doors, he might not agree with what Tom Thibodeau does. Mike Brown comes in, boom, immediately buys in. When your star player buys in, everyone else kind of follows suit. You know what I'm saying? So that's important. That's leadership. That translates, that may not translate into buckets and assists and all that shit, but that translates into, players feeling empowered and confident, and that translates into players being better. So he does make players better in terms of that. And in terms of scoring wise, like he's one of the best at that shit that there is for that size. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson, number 11. If he gets a championship, fuck best in the league, man. I think you might have to put him as the best Knick ever, and that's gonna hurt me to say because my nigga you can't see him, but Frazier on that wall. You know what I'm saying? Bernard King, Ewing, as much as he's aloof and all that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But you might have to, and the people are gonna disagree. Earl Monroe and who else could we say? Earl Monroe. There's not that many great Knicks like Earl Monroe. Dave the Bushes.
That really like.
Yeah, there's not that many Kings.
Yeah,
Carmelo's in there.
And Carmelo,
shout out to Melo. I fuck with Melo.
Because we had a lot of like people that came here and made a difference, but they didn't come here and be like the ultimate attraction. Like Larry
Ewing,
Johnson,
Frazier, Melo, Monroe, Bernard, and Jalen. In my opinion, that's mine. I don't give. You're gonna have all these old school niggas come in the comments and talk shit, but that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? But Jalen Brunson, I'm going to say number 2. If he wins the chip, we could talk the number 1 spot. But number 2 is pretty motherfucking good. Number 1 in the East Coast. You know what I mean? That's it, man. You know what I mean? That's all I got to motherfucking say.
So that's what we're predicting. The NBA final is going to be the number 1 point guard on the East Coast versus number
crazy.
1 point guard on the West Coast.
Yo,
I don't think.
You getting ready to say exactly what I'm getting ready to say? Go ahead, Jay.
I don't think. What do you call it is gonna make it to the finals. I think it'll be San Antonio.
There's somebody out there that could be beating them niggas.
I think it'll be San Antonio.
And De'Aaron Fox, you got to talk about.
Yeah, I think it'll be San Antonio.
I like them niggas, man. I like Fox. I like Castle.
I feel like we could beat them.
Wemby. We did beat them. We stole the championship from them. The mid-season shit or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That matters.
That matters.
But it's important.
You know what I mean?
Everybody was healthy. Everybody was on the court, and everybody was playing at their hardest competition level, right? Yeah. So that just tells you they all wanted to win it. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want to win an extra 500,000?
I don't like what they do. They broke like. Do you hear what they did? They broke off like the staff and the trainers and the fucking mailroom people. Right? Yeah, they broke. That's fly. That's dope.
I think it was like Jalen Brunson,
the rookies kept
Carlton
their shit.
Towns.
Jalen them niggas 500 racks ain't nothing to a can of paint. You know what I'm saying? I want to
If
say
I'm
this.
Tyler Cole, I'm keeping my shit.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. Them niggas is buying. I think last year Josh said if he wins, he was gonna buy an AP. Them niggas is tricking on money. But yo, we're gonna end off on this note. I want to say something about the Spurs, man, because I never liked the Spurs since '99 when they beat us. You know what I'm saying, with Duncan and Ginobili and what's my man Tony Parker and all them, right?
Yeah.
When we had Sprewell and all of them, and Ewing was hurt. But now I really don't like the fucking Spurs, and I don't like Wemby. And I respect what he does. I understand his game, but I'm gonna tell you why I don't fuck Wemby. Wemby be acting, and y'all gonna. He probably never get on the show. Probably never gonna get on the show anyway. But now after what I give him and say, he's never going on the show. But yo, the motherfucker's a bitch ass nigga. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll tell you why, because I went to the Spurs. Y'all know this. I went to the Spurs game 2 years ago in San Antonio. Right, dope ass environment. Love the city of San Antonio. Absolutely love it. I said, damn, I'd fucking move here. I love the city. I love the environment. The arena was dope. All the people in San Antonio were nice. I had essays talking shit to me, just playing around. It was a great environment. I loved it. You know, I had all my Knicks shit on. Motherfuckers just coming up to me with cowboy hats talking about, Holmes, you guys are getting fucking destroyed and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking shit to them niggas. It was all love. Wemby after the game. That game I happened to be blessed to see. I think I told you the story. That was Jalen Brunson's career high that game. It was a great fucking game. Yeah. Wemby had like 40-something. I think Jalen had like 62. Yeah. After the game, you know, when Mike Breen and all them, whoever's doing the game, when that shit shuts off, you still seeing what's going on in the arena. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to give Jalen Brunson the game ball. I think I told you this. Give him the game ball because it was his career high. This bitch nigga Wemby went and did not want to give him the ball. Went and took the ball and threw that shit. Yeah, he threw it. Sucker nigga shit. And he be on some sucker shit, you know what I'm saying? But he's mean, you know.
The other day, he said that we're not a finesse team and all this other shit.
Yeah. Fuck you, nigga.
Yeah, stay healthy, nigga. Like that's it. Yeah, stay healthy.
But I will say this. This is not personally because I don't know the motherfucker personally. This is in basketball terms. And the motherfucker cold. I will give you that. The motherfucker cold. His game is cold. Yeah, his game is cold. With that being said, we out of here. Yo, Q, take us out of here.
Yo. From that note, this is how we going out. We're gonna just replay the topics, right? Besides the Happy New Year gizmo, we already said that.
Show world.
We're giving shouts out again for everybody. We're saying it because, you know, Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. You know, make sure y'all all stay healthy. Yo, don't drink and drive, and don't be the type of people, number one, that be like, oh, new year, new me. Nah, nigga, if you was fucked up last year,
gyms are gonna be packed in January. You already know, Jay. The gyms are gonna be packed. You gotta wait. I'll go back to the gym in March. I might work out in the crib.
Just change it up, bro. Like, just be like, yo, New Year improved me, and then just fucking do some calisthenics. But besides that, yo, you know, Derrick Henry's on the Mount Rushmore, running backs. You know what I mean? Lamar Jackson, man, some bullshit is happening to you, bro. And Jalen Brunson has been solidified as the best point guard in the NBA. Salute to the New York Knicks. Salute. Happy New Year's. We're out of here. Peace out.
Peace.